I feel like something's gone terribly wrong here. This is not the way this is supposed to go. Hi, I'm Joe, and welcome to MotorCity Boat Works. Let's get to work. While we wait for the components to arrive for the big boat and we sort out some details for the systems in the pocket trawler, I've decided to spend the summer working on the Skipper 20 sailboat. I decided to try and get this boat to a moment of completion. Over the past couple weeks, I've been spending my time working on all the details for this little salty pocket sailboat. I've reached a point now where it's just about time to start working on the deck and the hull and get ready to repaint and refinish everything. There's some exterior wood that needs to be refinished. It's time to transform the boat into something new. Today's project is I've pulled out the Skipper 20 sailboat. I pulled it out of the little Werks, and we're going to be putting it onto these boat stands that I've got behind me there. I need to get them onto the boat stands because I'm going to be working on the hull and the deck of the little sailboat. I also want to be able to kind of refurbish the trailer. So it makes sense to kind of get the boat off the trailer and have it set up kind of on permanent stands for a little bit while I work on it over the next couple months. If you're restoring an old boat, you probably face this problem yourself. How do you get your old boat off of the trailer so you can work on the trailer, so you can work on the boat, get full access to the hull? Well, you need some way to lift it off of there. And if you're not in a boatyard, you got to do it all yourself. So I've talked about this once before. I'm going to be using a type of lifting system. It's called the GoHoist. I used it on my pocket trawler, which is about 4,000, 5,000 pounds that I was able to lift, get it off the trailer, and get everything then blocked onto stands. We're going to do the same thing on the sailboat, and I'm going to show you how I do it. Now, a word about boat stands. We call this process of putting the boat on stands, we call that blocking. You will see people on the internet blocking their boats. That's putting their boats on top of all manner of things, from sawhorses to old wooden pallets to concrete blocks, 50-gallon drums. Really, if you're going to be working on a boat for any period of time, you really need to put it on a pair of boat stands. I'm no expert, but my rule of thumb on a 20-foot boat, I like to have a minimum of 4 stands, and I also like to have some keel support. It can be a dedicated keel stand, or it could be a wooden block. I always have chains to secure the stands so that they don't move apart. The boat can't shift on the stands. And I make sure that my stands are the proper height. They've got to be tall enough in order to engage the hull, especially on a sailboat that has a keel. Where do you get your boat stands? Brand new ones will cost you more than $100 a piece, not to mention the shipping. So what I like to do is scour Craigslist and Facebook. Sometimes I buy them as a set, sometimes I buy them individually until I have enough. If you're lucky, they'll run you somewhere between $30 to $50 a piece. It doesn't matter whether they're rusted, you can clean them up, spray paint them, put some new pads and carpet, and you're good to go. In the long run, you'll use them for your project, then turn around and sell them afterwards. You'll recoup most of your money, and you won't have to worry about hurting yourself. If you watch my channel, you already know MotorCity Boat Works has no sponsors. I get no compensation from any of the products or the companies that I talk about on my YouTube channel. I do put links in the show description for some of the items that I use if you want to try and find them. Amazon does pay a small commission if you use those links. So what is this thing called the GoHoist? It's basically an A-frame hoist. It's made of steel and aluminum poles with a couple of heavy-duty ratchet winches. When I first set up the Boatworks, I imagined building some sort of a hoist or a gantry, but after researching the cost and materials, it made sense to buy something that was already in a kit. It comes in a couple different versions. The one I have is what's called the 5-ton lift. The system like I have costs somewhere around $1,000 to $1,500. If you're going to be doing multiple boats, this is an investment that's probably worthwhile. It weighs about 450 pounds and it comes in about 20 different pieces. It can be put together by one person, but you may want to have a helper. What I like about this is that the height of this thing is about 11 feet. You can pull through a trailer that's 10 feet or less, and it'll accept a beam on a boat that's somewhere around 9.5 feet. I have no affiliation with this company. I just think it's a clever idea. This thing goes together pretty easily. The poles just slot together, and then you put in these retaining pins. You really need 2 people to put the last segments on because it's kind of heavy and it gets a little tall. Once everything's assembled, you pull the trailer through the hoist, and then you got to figure out where to put your boat stands. Now, usually what I do is I'll take a pair of boat stands and I'll put them at the stern of the boat. I'll use the GoHoist to lift the front of the boat, and that way I can pull the trailer out and then begin to block the boat up properly. But of course, things don't always work out as planned. This trailer is a little bit long for the boat, and there's not enough room to get the boat stands up underneath the stern of the boat. There's not enough room between the trailer support. They just don't fit. So I'm going to have to come up with some other solution. Oh man, why does this happen to me? This is going to be difficult. On one side, I can get the stand outside the trailer, but on the other side, well, I can't actually get it inside the trailer in the right position. So after some creative thinking, I think what I might do is rig up another strap and kind of create like a dual sling. Since the weight of the Skipper 20 is somewhere around 2,900 pounds, I should be able to lift this whole thing if I can just come up with some sort of a sling system. I feel like something's gone terribly wrong here. This is not the way this is supposed to go. Now look, this is probably not the way to do this, so make sure you follow the instructions from the manufacturer and... Hang on a second. Crank it a little bit? This is probably not recommended.
So now, this is called set. Set? We set them.
Once all the stands are set, now it's time to lower the boat onto its keel support. In this case, I'm using a 4x4 and some 4x6 blocks in addition to a boat stand keel support. Be sure to install your change. That's what prevents the stands from shifting. You kind of work your way around the boat, giving a couple turns to each stand so you lower it evenly. On a sailboat with a keel, it should always rest on the keel. The majority of support is done by the keel of the boat. The stands are there to support the boat to keep it from tipping one way or the other.
You know, MotorCity Boat Works is approaching its second year on YouTube. We're almost to 100 episodes. I want to take a moment to thank those of you who are supporting the channel. The workers are a fan club, and their contributions help make this channel possible. As we approach 100 episodes, whether the channel continues to produce high quality content, short, concise, detailed episodes about original aspects of boat restoration and boat building, well, all of that is up to you. At some point, I have to weigh the time spent working on the YouTube channel in the larger context of doing my boat restoration projects. Take a moment to at least join the workers. If you're able to support the channel, please help us out. I'll be back again next time, hopefully with an episode about painting the Skipper 20 sailboat. I want to thank you for stopping by. We'll see you next time. Stay motivated.
If you like these videos, please hit the subscribe button. These videos would not be possible without your support.